Hey everyone, Marco here, and in this video I want to tell you about my favorite real estate crowdfunding platforms for 2021. So as you know, I talk a lot on my website, on this channel, about real estate crowdfunding, and real estate crowdfunding platforms really have a large place in my investment portfolio. I really love to invest in real estate crowdfunding, so I wanted to do this video to give you my updated list of my favorite platforms for 2021. So first I will tell you a bit about real estate crowdfunding, I will tell you how I select those platforms, and then we'll go to the list itself. So first, real estate crowdfunding, in case you don't know it, is the fact of investing with other investors into real estate projects. So for example, instead of buying a flat yourself, you would invest with 10, hundreds or thousands of people actually to just buy a share of this property and therefore become an owner as well. So the advantage of that is to really be able not only to diversify easily into many projects, but also to become an owner, to invest in real estate from a very little amount of money and not have to take a loan or anything. So there are two types of real estate crowdfunding platforms or projects. The first one is the one I just mentioned, is basically buying to renting out a property. So that's like classical real estate. So you buy a share of a property, then it will be rented. So you will get a rent every month or every year, depending on the platform, and also some capital gain at the end when the property is resold. So that's my favorite. But there is another one, which is investing in development loans. So basically we invest in a loan to finance a loan that will be used to either build a new property and then sell it, to make some renovation in an existing property and then sell it, or just to buy a property and just sell it for a higher price. So that's another way to do investing on those platforms. So now, how do I actually choose those platforms? Well, there are two types of criteria that I use for every platform, for those platforms, for every investment actually I make. The first one is really objective criteria. So here it will be, of course, the yield. So how much money will I actually get on my investment, right? So here it will be around 10%, 12% expected yield for development projects, so investing in loans, and more around maybe 6-7% for rentals, right? For properties that will be rented and I will get a rent every month. I also looked at more general characteristic of the platform. For example, is there a feature to automatically invest money? Is there something to resell or to buy shares of properties, like a secondary market, right? That's also very useful for investor because you can just exit some investments quite easily. Finally, what is the track record of the platform? That's very important because in peer-to-peer lending, for example, if you have a buyback guarantee on some loans, right? I only invest on those loans. But here you don't have anything like this, right? Because it's property. So you need to make sure that the platform really does a good job to manage your investments. And for that, you need to look at what they did in the past to see if they had any problems. And if there were problems, how did they actually handle them? So I will look at all of that to pick those platforms. So now let's go to the list. The first one that's been my number one platform for a long time is Estate Guru. So it's a platform based in Estonia. They are the largest platform of this kind in Europe. They mostly do those development loans that I mentioned before. Yields are around 12%. I'm a bit more, around 11.5 at the moment. So that's very good. It's very close to what they actually announced. They also have all the things you would expect from a good platform, auto invest function. They also have a secondary market, so it's really easy to either exit an existing position or buy shares into previous projects. And they also have an excellent track record. So even when they had problems, they always managed to actually get at least some of the money back to investors. So that's very good as well. The second platform I wanted to mention here is Reinvest24. So if I say that Estate Guru is my favorite platform for development loans, well, Reinvest24 is my favorite platform for sure for projects where you become like an owner of properties and then get a rent every month. They propose that mostly. They also have a few development loans on the platform, but mostly they propose to investors to invest in properties where they will get a rent and also some capital gain at the end. The nice thing is that they actually have projects, not only like residential, like with apartments or houses, but also commercial projects like restaurants, offices, hotels, right? So, things like this that you would not usually be able to invest in as a solo investor because the entry tickets are just so high, right? So in terms of yields, you can expect around 6 to 7% on the rent side and about the same on the capital gain side, so when the project is actually sold. They also have a secondary market, so it's also really easy to either buy shares of previous projects or sell your own shares if you want to. They also have an excellent track record with their project, so also really a platform that I recommend. The third platform I wanted to mention here is Bulk Estate. So it's also a platform based in the Baltic countries. They also do development loans, so it's definitely a platform more like Estate Guru. What made it different from, let's say, other platforms is two things. They have very good yields, so above usually 14%. I'm more around 13% myself on the project I've chosen, but definitely higher yields than other platforms. Also, they really made sure to select only the best loans to invest in on their platform. So they are not a lot. Sometimes it's a bit limited, but definitely very high quality loans on this platform. They also have an auto invest function, so it makes it really easy to completely automate your investments on the platform. The fourth one I wanted to mention here, again, more on the rental side, is Rendity. So Rendity is a bit different than the other platform because they are based in Austria and not in the Baltic countries. So that's quite nice to actually diversify and have a portfolio really across Europe and not just in some countries. So they are active in Austria and Germany, so they have projects in those countries. The yields are a bit lower, of course, than other platforms because it's Western Europe. So you have more like 5% in terms of yields on the rentals, right? And about 9% on development loans. So it's a bit lower, but it's expected as it's not in the Baltic countries. So I also never had any problem with the platform. They always paid on time. They always delivered on every project. I have many projects that actually already finished on the platform. So I got these capital gains from those projects, which were as expected. So nothing to report there as well. The only little problem that I have with the platform is that the entry ticket, at least when I recorded this video, was of 500 euros. So it's a bit higher than the usual 100 euro for other platforms. It can be, something that will stop some investors. That's for sure my personal maximum. I wouldn't invest in a platform that has a higher entry ticket. That's not my vision of real estate crowdfunding. But nothing really big, but just I wanted to mention here because it's quite high compared to other platforms. So the last platform I wanted to mention in this video is Evo Estate. So that's a really different platform from the others because they allow people to invest in many platforms actually from a single interface. So the nice thing with that is that it's instant diversification, meaning that you don't have to open 10 accounts to invest on all those platforms. You can just invest from one interface into many platforms. Yields are, of course, depending on the platforms you invest on, but it's around 11% according to them. The nice thing is that it allows you to invest from 100 euros on platforms that would usually have a higher minimum. So for example, you can invest on some French platform that's called Razors that has a minimum at the moment of 1,000 euros, which is not something I would invest in. But via Evo Estate, you can actually invest on those platforms. Also, they invest themselves in the project that they have on the platform. So it means that they have all the incentive to actually propose the best loans and properties only, because they're also invested in, so they don't want to lose money as well. So definitely a very interesting platform as well. Alright, so this is already the end of this list. So if I had to recommend some platforms, I would definitely go with two of them: Estate Guru for loans and Reinvest24 for rental properties. That's definitely the base that I would start with if I had to choose. Then if you are a bit more, let's say, lazy, or you want to get started faster and diversify, you can also check out Evo Estate to actually have this instant diversification against many platforms. So as usual, I put all the resources that I listed in this video, for example, all the links to the platforms, also a link to my article on my site that goes deeper into all of that, and that I also update very regularly. So you will find all of that just below the video. So also, as usual, if you have any comments or questions about the content of the video, make sure to leave them just below the video. That being said, thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.